It started as an ordinary morning on the farm until 7-year-old Emily heard something moving inside the old barn. Curious, she pushed the door open, expecting chickens or maybe a stray cat. Instead, her heart froze. For German shepherds sat in absolute silence there, eyes gleaming through the dim light. They weren't barking or moving, just watching her, as if waiting for something. Her heart raced. Emily's tiny voice quivered. "Where did you come from?" The dogs didn't respond. "Who left them here? What were these dogs doing here? And why were they looking straight at her like they knew her?" In that moment, Emily realized these weren't just lost dogs. There was something deeply strange about them. What she was about to discover would leave the entire town speechless. Before we start, make sure to hit like, share, and subscribe. And really, I'm curious, where are you watching from? Drop your country name in the comments. I love seeing how far our stories travel. The morning mist still clung to the fields when little Emily skipped toward the old barn. The smell of hay and earth filled the air, and sunlight streamed through the wooden slats, painting golden lines across the floor. She loved coming here. It was her secret world, full of hidden treasures and tiny adventures. But that morning, something felt different. A low sound echoed inside, a strange rustling she had never heard before. Heart pounding with curiosity, Emily pushed open the heavy door, its hinges creaking in protest. Her eyes widened. For German shepherds sat in a perfect row there, amber eyes gleaming through the dim light. They didn't bark or move. They just watched her, calm but intense, as if waiting. Emily froze. None of the neighbors' own dogs like these. Her small voice trembled as she whispered, "Hey, there." But they remained motionless, their gaze unbroken. Then something caught her eye. A silver tag around one dog's neck engraved with letters she recognized. Her father's initials. Fear and confusion collided inside her. She turned and ran toward the house, shouting for her parents. But when they arrived moments later, the barn was empty. Only faint paw prints lingered in the straw. That night, Emily couldn't sleep. The image of those 4 silent dogs haunted her mind. The way they had looked at her, not wild, not frightened, but knowing, made her skin prickle. Her parents had dismissed it as imagination. But Emily knew what she saw. The barn was real. The paw prints were real. Something about them wasn't ordinary. Sometime past midnight, a soft whimper drifted through her window. Emily sat up, heart racing. She peered through the glass and gasped. The same 4 German shepherds stood in the moonlight, there, fur glowing faintly under the silver sky. One of them tilted its head and let out a gentle, sorrowful sound, almost like a plea. Without thinking, Emily tiptoed outside, her bare feet brushing against the cold grass. As she approached, the dogs didn't move away. Instead, they turned toward the barn as if beckoning her to follow. That's when she noticed the collars, thick black military straps, each engraved with strange serial numbers. When her father came outside moments later, flashlight in hand, his face went pale. He recognized the markings instantly. These were my unit's dogs, he whispered, voice trembling. But that's impossible. Before Emily could ask, the dogs turned as one and padded silently toward the barn, their eyes glowing softly in the dark. The next morning, Emily awoke to the sound of hushed voices coming from the kitchen. She crept down the stairs and hid behind the doorway, listening. Her father sat at the table, his hands trembling as he held an old photograph. 4 German shepherds standing proudly beside a group of soldiers. His voice was heavy with emotion. They were my K9 team, he said softly. Rex, Duke, Max, and Thor. They saved my life overseas. Only 3 bodies were ever found after the explosion. Rex disappeared. Emily's mother looked stunned. You mean those same dogs? She whispered. He nodded slowly. The serial numbers match. Exactly. But that can't be. They've been gone for years. Later that day, Emily wandered back to the barn, her heart pounding. The air inside felt colder. Now, as sunlight streamed through the cracks, she spotted one of the dogs, Rex, lying in the hay, his side rising and falling unevenly. He looked hurt. Emily rushed forward, but as her small hand reached out, the dog's body shimmered, transparent for a split second. Then he licked her fingers, warm, real, alive, before vanishing completely, leaving behind a single metal tag in the straw. Emily screamed, clutching it tight. Etched on the tag were the words, Rex, Guardian Unit. That evening, Emily's father sat silently on the porch, the dog tag clutched in his hand. The wind whispered through the cornfields, carrying with it a strange, distant echo, a soft bark that made his heart skip. They're trying to tell us something, Emily said, standing beside him. Her father nodded slowly, eyes dark with memory. Rex never left without a reason. He always finished his mission. Together, they followed the faint trail of paw prints that shimmered in the moonlight, leading toward the back of the farm. The path ended at the old stone well, one that had been sealed since before Emily was born. The dogs appeared again, circling the spot, their eyes reflecting the moon's glow. Then Rex began to dig. The others followed, paws moving fast, straw and dirt flying. Moments later, they uncovered a rusted metal box buried deep beneath the soil. Emily's father knelt down, prying it open. Inside lay his old military badge, a few charred photographs of his unit, and a folded letter addressed to him, written by his fallen captain. His hands shook as he read the final line aloud. You and your dog saved us all. You were never forgotten. Rex stepped forward, pressed his head gently against his hand, and slowly began to fade. 2 days later, Emily's father received a call that made his breath catch. The local military base wanted him to come in. Someone had discovered old mission footage from his unit's final day. He drove there in silence, Emily beside him, clutching Rex's tag like it was a treasure. Inside the briefing room, the commander played the tape. Grainy images flickered on screen. A dusty village, explosions, chaos, and then Rex appeared. The video showed the loyal dog dragging Emily's father from the burning wreckage, refusing to leave even as flames surrounded them. But what came next froze the room. Rex turned back, sprinting into the inferno toward trapped soldiers. Moments later the blast engulfed everything. The screen went black. Emily's father sat frozen, tears glistening in his eyes. He went back for them, he whispered. He saved their lives again. Emily held his hand tightly. As they drove home that night, the air felt lighter, calmer. Emily gazed out the window at the moonlit fields and smiled faintly. They weren't ghosts, Daddy, she said softly. They just came back to finish their duty. He looked at her, eyes filled with gratitude and sorrow. No, he murmured, voice trembling. They came back to say goodbye. A week later, the farm was quiet again, the air thick with peace. Instead of mystery, Emily and her father stood beneath a young oak tree near the barn, the spot where the paw prints had last appeared. In the soft earth they buried the metal tags one by one, marking the place with a simple wooden sign that read, "In honor of the guardians." The wind rustled the leaves gently, almost like a whisper of approval. For a long moment, neither of them spoke. Emily looked up at her father, her small voice breaking the silence. Do you think they're happy now? He smiled through misty eyes. Yes, he said quietly. They finally gone home. As they turned to leave, the sunlight flickered through the trees, casting the faint silhouettes of 4 German shepherds running across the golden field, their forms glowing before fading into light. Emily gasped and squeezed her father's hand. He simply nodded, eyes glistening. That night, Emily left a small bowl of water and bread near the barn door. When she woke at dawn, the bowl was empty, and a single glowing paw print shimmered in the straw. She smiled softly. Some guardians, she realized, never truly leave. They just watch from beyond.